It is the final wish for many service members to be buried with their brothers who died in battle. As you can imagine, many of these military internments occur at Pearl Harbor, and we caught up with the veteran who helps to carry the ashes to their final resting place.
Today we are honoring an American hero, and now the United States Navy will honor him by scattering his ashes in the waters of Pearl Harbor, as he so richly deserves.
2, 8, 5.
My name is Master Chief James Taylor, United States Navy, retired. I'm best known for being the individual who coordinates the services for the scattering of ashes and interments here in Pearl Harbor.
As years went by, I became more and more involved with the Pearl Harbor survivors themselves and all of their burials, and I've been the only one that's done any of them, I'd say, for the last 10 years.
I have been privileged to meet hundreds of Pearl Harbor survivors at the various ceremonies that are here, and also the ones that live here locally, and I just enjoy being with them.
That's the first round I fired December the 7th.
To me, they're heroes. To me, anybody and everybody that served in a military uniform are heroes. Well, we all know that World War II started here, and it has history that'll never be told. Every day I learn something new. Pearl Harbor was the home port, and still is, of the finest Navy in the world. I think that the reason that they want their ashes scattered in the harbor, in Pearl Harbor in particular, is because their shipmates, their brothers in arms, were killed that day. The ocean does draw people, and it's like family. I want to be with family when they go. So this year's 70th is vitally important, not only to the survivors, but also to their families. So the families are the ones that really should attend that ceremony also, so they can carry on the legacy of their loved ones who served.
It is a big deal, and unfortunately, it's going to be the last visit for an awful lot of Pearl Harbor survivors that are coming for the event. Most of them now are unable to travel because of their physical condition, and it's going to be kind of a sad event for me, simply because I won't see these guys again alive. I'll see them when their families bring them here, but I'll make it through it, and I do know that when I'm hoping and I'm praying that I can stay healthy enough to keep on doing this until they're all gone.
And joining me on set now is Petty Officer Drew Breeze, who produced that story that we just saw. Petty Officer, thank you so much for joining us. No problem. You know, you spent quite a bit of time with Master Chief Taylor for that story. Can you talk a little bit about how he got involved with the internment process down at Pearl Harbor?
Yes, he actually started as doing that in his naval service as a yeoman, sending out letters to fallen shipmates and dealing with families that way. And after he got out, it just kind of progressed into a volunteer job, and that's what he does today, and he loves every bit of it. I mean, just talking with the guy, he's really, he handles every situation very carefully, and the families love it and appreciate him so much for it.
Now, Master Chief Taylor wasn't at Pearl Harbor himself when the attacks happened, but he does have a very close connection with the survivors of the Pearl Harbor attack. Could you go into a little bit more detail about that and what that entails?
Yeah, I mean, like, everybody around the island calls him Master Chief Jim Taylor, and it's really awesome that you get that old school Navy vibe around the island. And his connection with the Pearl Harbor survivors themselves are, I mean, they're like his best friends, his buddies, you know, his neighbors. And they all know him by name, and it's awesome to see how connected he is with the entire community out there, and knowing all their stories, and they know his, and they just go back and forth. And I mean, that was really pivotal in the storytelling process of what he does.
Fantastic. Petty Officer Breeze, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a little bit more insight into Master Chief Jim Taylor.